Hello and welcome. Thank you for attending the second of a three-part workshop series on the topic of preparing for your asylum interview. My name is Jesse Valentine, licensed graduate social worker in the state of Minnesota. I am a social worker at the Center for Victims of Torture. I run the community programs and engagement services offered by the St. Paul Healing Center located in St. Paul, Minnesota. Legal disclaimer. Disclaimer, this video publication does not provide legal advice. This publication and the information included in it are not intended to serve as a substitute or consultation with a licensed attorney. This video publication is intended for educational and informational purposes only and may not be current, fully accurate, or complete. Specific legal issues, concerns, and conditions always require the advice of appropriate, competent legal professionals. You should not take or refrain from taking any legal action based upon the information in this workshop without first seeking professional counsel. Medical advice disclaimer. Disclaimer, this video publication and the information included does not provide medical advice. The information included, but not limited to, text, graphics, images, and other material contained in this publication are for educational and informational purposes only. No material on this site is intended to be a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. This publication is not meant to offer exhaustive list of mental health coping strategies and resources. If you are in a mental health crisis, contact your mental health provider or contact 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline for suicide prevention and confidential emotional support. Call or text 988 or visit the website www.988lifeline.org. Always seek the advice of your mental health provider or physician with any questions before undertaking a new mental health care regime, and never disregard professional advice or delay seeking it because of something you have read or viewed on this publication. This content should not be used to self-diagnose or self-treat any mental health, medical, or physical condition. The use of this publication preparing for your asylum interview before, during, and after, and use of the internet for communication with nonprofit agency, the Center for Victims of Torture, will not establish a patient-client relationship, and messages containing confidential or time-sensitive information should not be sent to nonprofit agency, the Center for Victims of Torture. Brief history about CVT. CVT was founded in 1985. The Center for Victims of Torture works towards a future in which torture ceases to exist and its survivors have hope for a new life. CVT provides direct care for those who have been tortured, trains partners around the world who can prevent and treat torture, and advocates for human rights and an end to torture worldwide. CVT currently has offices in Ethiopia, Iraq, Jordan, Kenya, Uganda, the United States, and additional project sites around the world. We sincerely believe that CVT can provide care to aid individuals to once again live healthy, productive, and peaceful lives. Some general reminders before we begin the workshop. You are a survivor. You can do difficult things. You know your story. There are people who believe you. There are people who love you, and there are people who support you. These workshops are intended to increase workshop participants' knowledge of the asylum process and how it impacts mental health and functioning. Information presented here is general, so in actual preparation for an asylum interview or hearing, the asylum applicant should follow the advice of their attorney. If the asylum applicant does not have an attorney, it is always advised for an asylum applicant to seek counsel of a licensed and practicing lawyer. Grounding exercise. Now we are about to begin discussing the complex topic of immigration and asylum. It is helpful to begin this workshop by becoming present in the moment, calm, and focused. This is intended to help reduce anxiety and overwhelm. Grounding exercises are a way to firmly anchor oneself in the present. Grounding exercises are helpful for many situations where one may find themselves becoming overwhelmed or distracted by distressing memories, thoughts, or feelings. This grounding exercise is called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This video is around 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Ensure you are seated comfortably before we begin. If you notice at any point in this workshop you are becoming distracted, emotionally activated, or distressed by memories, thoughts, or feelings, I encourage you to take a few deep breaths to recenter and ground yourself in the present moment.
The 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 method is a grounding exercise that can help you stay in the moment and avoid negative thinking and worry. You can do this exercise anywhere, at home, at school, in the car, or even in the middle of a crowd. You can do it sitting, standing, or laying down. Counting down from 5, use your senses to list things around you. Make an effort to notice details about these things. This is how to do it. Start by breathing deeply in through your nose and out through your mouth. Then slowly look at your surroundings. Find 5 things that you can see around you. Maybe you see a colorful poster on the wall, the spider web on the bookshelf, the lamp on the nightstand with the red shade, the cat sleeping peacefully on the chair, the cactus on the dresser that has finally bloomed. Then list 4 things that you can touch. The warm mug in your hands, the soft comforter on the bed, the denim of your jeans, the scratchy carpet under your feet. Next, listen for 3 things you can hear. Maybe the ticking of a clock, the quiet hum of your computer, the sound of traffic from outside. Now try to find 2 things that you can smell. The tea in your mug, the clean scent of your clothes. Finally, list 1 emotion that you feel. This is a way to ground yourself so you can feel present in the moment and in control of your surroundings. Now you try.
Now we will move in to talking about the interview day. Interview day. Arrive at least 15 minutes before the scheduled interview. If you arrive late, they may reschedule your interview. It is important to bring these items with you. Phone numbers for your attorney and the asylum office. The address of the asylum office. This will be provided to you on your interview notice and by your lawyer. Bring a water bottle and snacks. Ensure that your phone is charged before leaving your home. On the interview day, it is important to ground yourself. You can use a breathing exercise or a grounding exercise, such as the one that we just did. Each of these exercises are less than 5 minutes and can be completed at home, in the car, or even when you are waiting in the lobby to be called for your interview. It can be helpful to have an item such as a grounding stone. This can be any small item that can fit in your pocket, your purse, or your bag. A grounding item helps you so that whenever you may feel stressed, anxious, scared, or need to be reminded that you are loved and valued, you can hold on to this grounding item and use it as an anchor to recenter and reground yourself. Many people use a grounding item in their interview. Many people carry this with them in their pocket, their purse, or their bag, not just in preparation for the asylum interview, but to use in daily life. It is important to limit your distractions. Silence your phone, eat beforehand, and bring water with you. You may end up waiting in the lobby for an hour or more before your interview begins. On the interview day, it's important to dress professionally. Be prepared for a long day, 3 or more hours. If you need an interpreter, you must arrange one with your attorney. As mentioned in the first workshop, USCIS published a final rule in March of 2023 stating that interpreters will be provided by USCIS unless USCIS does not have interpreter for the language that you speak. The 41 most commonly spoken languages in the United States are the languages USCIS provides interpretation for. Please check with the attorney to know if the interpreter will be provided by USCIS or if you will need to provide your own interpreter. Derivative family members must attend the asylum interview. A derivative family member is a derivative visa applicant. It is the spouse or a minor unmarried child under the age of 21 that is the beneficiary of an immigrant petition. Those family members will attend the interview with you. Any other individuals who accompany the applicant to the interview must wait in the lobby while the interview is occurring. Your rights during the interview. This is extremely important to remember. These are 4 things that you have control over during your interview. You can ask the officer to repeat or explain a question that you do not understand. Say that you don't know or don't remember something. Ask for a short break if you are tired, stressed, or need to use the restroom. Get a drink of water or speak to your attorney privately. You also have the right to ask your attorney questions during the interview. Here are some examples of ways that you can state your needs during the interview. I don't understand the question you asked. Can you rephrase the question in a different way, please? I do not know the answer to that question. I do not recall the exact date. Excuse me, asylum officer, I need to take a break and use the restroom. Asylum officer, I need to ask my attorney a question. These are just a few examples of ways that you can directly state your needs to the asylum officer. During the interview, the asylum officer will wear professional clothing. They will not wear a police uniform. The interview will take place in an office, not in a courtroom. It is normal to feel stressed, overwhelmed, or tearful during the interview. Talking about your past trauma is hard, but it is the only way for the officer to understand why someone is applying for asylum. It's important to pause, breathe, think about your answer before speaking. You don't need to rush. If you do not know the answer, it is okay to say that you do not know or do not remember. This is always the better option than to make up an answer that is untrue. During the interview, as stated before, if the applicant has an interpreter, the applicant must wait for the translation and answer in their native language. Even if you understand the question as stated in English, it is necessary to wait for the translation to occur before answering. The attorney cannot answer questions for the applicant. This is extremely important. Sometimes asylum applicants feel nervous or worried and will look to their attorney to answer questions for them. This is not possible during the interview. It's important to be patient and answer politely. Ask for a break to speak with your attorney if you are concerned about the asylum officer's conduct during the interview, or if you have a question that you prefer not to ask in front of the asylum officer. It's important to not insult or argue with the officer, even if it seems like the officer is being harsh. The asylum officer might ask the same question over and over again in different ways, seem harsh, demanding, or insulting. They may seem like they think that you are lying. This doesn't mean it's going badly or that you're doing something wrong. Now it's important for us to talk about making a self-care plan so that when you show up on your interview day, you feel prepared, confident, and ready to move forward with the interview process. A self-care plan can include any or all of the following listed items: a daily routine, sleep routines, eating regular meals, having social supports, religious or spiritual practices that support your mental health and well-being, practicing relaxation techniques or grounding exercises. In the first workshop, we discussed creating healthy daily routines. And in this workshop, we will focus on creating healthy sleep routines and the importance of regular healthy meals. During the third workshop, we will focus on the importance of identifying social supports and the importance of meditation or spiritual practices in daily life. For those that do not practice religious or spiritual practice daily, meditation or use of grounding exercises can be extremely helpful. Now we will begin by talking about sleep. Many things impact our sleep. All of the things listed on the screen are examples. Stress and anxiety of the immigration process can drastically affect sleep quality. It can be important to monitor caffeine intake throughout the day, limit nicotine and alcohol consumption because that can increase anxiety and depression. And pay attention to what medications you are taking and when you are taking them, because this can affect sleep and sleep quality. It is important to not go to bed hungry or eat a large meal right before bed. Avoid rigorous exercise at least 1 hour before bed. And avoid TVs, computers, video games, and cell phones 1 hour before bed. Using a screen before bed inhibits sleep. Sleep routines. Starting a sleep routine an hour and 30 minutes before bed can be extremely helpful in preparing the body and the mind to go to bed. This could be through taking a bath, reading, prayer, stretching or yoga, breathing exercises, or progressive muscle relaxation, to name a few. If you are having trouble falling asleep, after 15 minutes, get out of bed and sit on the couch or a chair and do something calming, such as journaling, reading, or listening to soothing music. It's important to not use your cell phone or television at this time because the blue light will impede your ability to fall back asleep. If you notice physical sensations that you may fall asleep soon, such as yawning, heavy eyes, or being unable to focus on reading, at that time, it's important to get back into bed. Going to sleep and waking up at the same time can be very helpful. Even if it is difficult to fall asleep when starting a new routine, give it a full week for your body to adjust. If after returning to bed, trying some relaxation techniques, you still cannot sleep, try repeating those same actions again. By doing so, this might be frustrating, but it is helpful to break the cycle of associating your bed with a place of tossing and turning rather than a place to sleep. If you are on medications, it is important to take those medications as prescribed at the times noted on the medication bottle. This helps support healthy sleep routines. Sleep aids and medications. Listed are a few common sleep aids and medications. On the top left is a yellow bottle of melatonin. Melatonin is a hormone in one's body. It plays a role in sleep. The production and release of melatonin in the brain is connected to the time of day, increasing when it's dark and decreasing when it's light out. Melatonin production declines with age. Melatonin is also available as a supplement, typically as an oral tablet or capsule. This is an over-the-counter medication that can be purchased in most grocery stores or pharmacies. There is no prescription required for melatonin. Melatonin doses range from 1 milligram to 10 milligrams. Rooibos tea can aid those struggling to get enough rest. The picture on the bottom in the center is a picture of rooibos tea. The specific stress hormone that rooibos targets is cortisol. The lower the levels of cortisol in the body, the higher the likelihood of uninterrupted sleep. And this is exactly why rooibos is such a good tea to drink before bedtime. The two chamomile teas that are listed above, that are in the yellow boxes, is a common brand that can be found in most grocery stores. Chamomile tea has been used for centuries as a sleep and relaxation aid. Chamomile tea has a mild sedative effect that is great for inducing sleep. After one falls asleep, chamomile can help to improve sleep quality so that one wakes up rested and feeling refreshed. The purple bottle on the left bottom is ZQL. That is a brand that makes other sleep aid medications and is commonly found in most pharmacies. It's also over the counter. Prescription medications. Two common prescription medications used for sleep are Ambien and Trazodone. Ambien is used to treat insomnia. The immediate release tablet is used to help one fall asleep when first going to bed. The extended release form, Ambien CR, has a first layer that dissolves quickly to help one fall asleep, and a second layer that dissolves slowly to help one stay asleep. Usually people try natural sleep aids such as tea, then try melatonin, and if neither work to increase quality or length of sleep, it is important to talk to one's doctor about prescription options. Ambien is one of the more common sleep medications to treat insomnia. Insomnia is a medical condition that must be diagnosed by a medical professional. Trazodone is a sleep medication for severe insomnia. The drug has a sedative effect, inducing a relaxed, sleepy feeling. In prescribing the drug for sleep disorders, physicians typically recommend taking a low dose at bedtime in order to limit the effects of drowsiness. Still, some people report lingering effects, including sluggishness and feeling zapped of energy, particularly upon waking up. It's important to always tell one's physician if you begin taking a sleep aid and follow the advice of the physician when taking sleep medications, whether they are prescriptions or over-the-counter medications. It is important to note that the patient can advocate for oneself. If the patient is uncomfortable taking a specific medication, they can always ask for alternative medications. This is your right within the U.S. medical system. Nightmares tend to be something that torture survivors struggle with, or anybody who has faced trauma or conflict in their lives. Most people who have immigrated to the United States have faced a number of obstacles and traumas that may affect their sleep and cause nightmares. Managing nightmares. It is important to remind yourself that nightmares are not real, though they are very distressing. It is important to use distractions when waking up from a nightmare. Using a grounding exercise, such as the ones that we have utilized and practiced in the workshops, can be helpful, as well as prayer, meditation, or journaling. Paying attention to a distracting and relaxing activity helps to shut down the bad thoughts long enough for the mind to recenter to a sleep state. Cold showers or cold compresses can be helpful after a nightmare. Cold can help shock the system and bring the person back to the here and now. And at that point, it is important to remind oneself that you are in a safe place and that the nightmare is over. As I had mentioned, cold therapy can be very helpful with temperature regulation. Using a cold shower, a cold compress on the back of the neck or on the wrists can be helpful, or simply drinking a cold glass of water with ice. Cold exposure puts a brake on the overactivated brain and body. Exposure to cold helps to shock the nervous system. Exposure to cold can help focus the mind back on the body. During this experience, you are widening what is called the window of tolerance. By practicing using cold water or a cold ice pack when experiencing a nightmare or panic attack, you can help train yourself and remind yourself that when these nightmares or stressors come into your life, that you can see them for what they are, that they are not life-threatening even when they feel like they are. Now we are going to watch a short video and learn about ways that you can calm an activated nervous system.
So how do we slow down our body immediately? We work with the vagus nerve, the wonder nerve that originates from the brainstem. It is one of the longest cranial nerves that innervates the muscles of our face, our throat, our respiration, our digestion, as well as our heart. And because the vagus nerve runs from our neck, you can actually stimulate it orally by gargling with water or mouthwash or water and salt, as well as singing or chewing gum or sucking on a hard candy or even humming like But if you start eating more probiotics, this will help relax you as well. It stimulates the vagus nerve in the gut. This is connected to the brain, and your body will immediately wind down as we stimulate the vagus nerve by just exposing yourself to something cold, even a cold shower, or dunking your face in cold water. And take your 2 fingers, put it behind your ears, and rub it up and down. And watch what happens.
Cold therapy helps to lower overall stress levels. When you handle short-term stress and anxiety with cold therapy and learn to calm the nervous system, it helps you learn to stay calm in other stressful situations in the future. This trains the body to respond to stress with new behaviors, which can retrain the brain and increase self-confidence and resilience. Ever wonder why splashing cold water on your face or the back of your neck helps to become more alert or awake? Cold water stimulates oneself to take deeper breaths, decreases the level of carbon dioxide throughout the body, and this helps one concentrate and keep focus throughout the day. Cold water also increases endorphins, an important hormone and neurotransmitter for mood, which helps people to experience joy and happiness. Cold water has many benefits. We are highlighting many strategies that help to increase both physical and mental health that do not require taking medications or spending much money. Natural and homeopathic strategies are a great place to start out. If you feel like they are helpful, but are still experiencing high levels of stress, anxiety, depression, reoccurring nightmares, or insomnia, it is important to talk to your physician or mental health clinician to address these concerns. Now we are going to shift to talking about eating regular and healthy meals. Anxiety symptoms can make you feel unwell. Coping with anxiety can be a challenge and often requires making lifestyle changes. There aren't any diet changes that can cure anxiety, but watching what you eat can help. Changes to diet can be difficult, but they can make a difference to one's general mood or sense of well-being. They are not a substitute for treatment, though. Lifestyle changes such as improving sleep habits, increasing social supports, using stress reduction techniques, and getting regular exercise are also important. Be patient, as it may take some time before these changes have an effect on one's anxiety. So, we are going to discuss some foods that are better or worse for your anxiety. So is it true that certain foods can worsen anxiety and others have a calming effect? Yes. The answer is yes. Some things that can help have a calming effect and reduce anxiety is eating a breakfast that includes protein, eating complex carbohydrates, drinking plenty of water, limiting or avoiding caffeine, and trying to eat a healthy, balanced meal. Eating protein at breakfast can help one feel fuller longer and help keep blood sugar steady to have more energy as one starts the day. Carbohydrates are thought to increase the amount of serotonin in the brain, which has a calming effect. Eating foods rich in complex carbohydrates, such as whole grains, for example, oatmeal, quinoa, fufu, whole grain breads, whole grain cereals, couscous, those are all good complex carbohydrates. Steering clear of foods that contain simple carbohydrates, such as sugary foods and drinks, can be helpful in having low levels of anxiety. Regarding water, drinking plenty of water is incredibly important. Even mild dehydration can affect one's mood. Avoiding caffeinated beverages. They can make you feel jittery and nervous and can interfere with sleep quality. If you are somebody who drinks caffeine daily, it can be helpful to limit caffeine intake and stop drinking caffeine by 1 or 2 p.m. Healthy eating is important for overall physical and mental health. Eating lots of fruits and vegetables is important. It helps us to not overeat. When we don't listen to our brain and gut connection that is telling us that we are full, we trick our body into thinking that we need to continue eating. This creates a behavior and a physical brain-body reaction and tells us that we should overeat in the future. So now, as we near the end of this workshop, we are going to do a square breathing exercise, the same one that we did in the first workshop. Practicing the same exercise can be helpful in familiarizing oneself with a new skill. It becomes easier to use the more often it is practiced. This video is about 2 minutes and 30 seconds long. Please ensure that you are seated comfortably before we begin.
Take a moment to create awareness to your breath and follow along as we do 4 square breathing exercise. Relax your body and start by picturing a box with equal sides. Now inhale through your nose along the top line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold going down the side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale through your nose along the bottom line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold going up the side. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember to do this for at least 3 to 5 cycles. Visit our website and mobile app for more tools.
We are reaching the end of the workshop. I would like to share some digital resources with you. During each workshop, we have practiced grounding and breathing exercises. This digital resource has additional exercises and resources relevant to mental health and immigration. The QR code listed on both the English and Aroma version are exactly the same. We will be adding information in other languages in the future. A QR code is a machine scannable image that can instantly be read using a smartphone camera. Every QR code consists of a number of black squares and dots which represent certain pieces of information. When a smartphone scans this code, it translates this information. How to use a QR code. Open your phone camera, then position the phone so that the code appears on the screen. Tap the yellow notification that appears on the screen to go to the link tree. What is a link tree? A link tree allows a person to create a personalized and customizable page that houses all of the important links to share with people in an easy way. Linktree is helpful because lots of different videos, audio, and website content can be viewed in one place. Please use the QR code that will be on the next slide to take a brief anonymous survey. Please provide open and honest feedback. Surveys help CVT to provide better educational resources and curriculum, both digitally on our YouTube channel, as well as for our workshops that we provide in person. Here is the QR code for the survey. It's brief and should only take 5 to 10 minutes. Thank you for attending the second workshop. To view the third workshop, go to CVT's YouTube channel.